Welcome everybody to the Empower AI Agents Unleashed, Real AI, Real Impact and Smarter Business Decisions. So I have the lovely Adele with me here today.
Hello, how are you? Great to be
We
here.
are grand, it's all good. So we are going to obviously talk about the AI agents, and we were going to have a chat about Lucas, which is the CEO that we have in the family. And Adele, we were just going to have a conversation about, what works well, what doesn't work so well, what it is that you need to be careful of. But I think we started working about a year ago, and I think
Yeah.
initially I taught you how to create the agents.
Yes. Yes, indeed. I mean, it was such an eye opener just to be able to drill down and get so specific with the chat GPT. It was incredible because that's the one thing I noticed when I was doing the work before I started working with you. I was working with ChatGPT. It was quite kind of generic. It was very similar. There was a lot of sameness with the answers and not really specific to my business. So what I love about working with Lucas is that it is specific to my business, and we have this kind of ongoing relationship, so to speak, where there's that all that we've created an understanding. So as well as that, there's a continuation of thought with Lucas as well, that I don't have to repeat myself. One thing I've found with ChatGPT that regular was that it would almost drop its memory, that I'd be working away for a while, I'd be working really well, and then suddenly it was like we've just met. Whereas Lucas doesn't do that.
I like
He's
that.
a bit more reliable, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. I hear a lot of people say all the time that, oh, it's no good, that the output isn't any good. I have to keep reprompting, and then it doesn't do the right thing. And my argument always is that you're just not using it properly.
Yeah.
It's like if someone says that, I just instantly know they're not using any of the agents, they're not using any GPTs, they're putting in information and expecting to get the magic out, and it just doesn't work that way.
Absolutely, but I think there's two ways. I think there's partly we're still adjusting our brains and our thought processes as to what's available, because we think in this way, and AI is so new, we don't yet know where the limits are. We don't know what's possible. So we're actually using a new piece of technology with our old thinking as well. And I
Yeah,
think that can limit. Um, but it's like anything else, what you put into it, you get it back out again.
yeah,
I
it's
think
very
we have to
true.
challenge ourselves and challenge the AI to perform.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess that's the beautiful thing about it, isn't it? Is that if you get into the flow of a conversation, you can actually change. You can see things from multiple perspectives, because if you're inquisitive enough to ask the right questions, you're
Yes,
gonna you're gonna keep going.
I think so. And the way you ask a question, it's like coaching. The way you ask a question, it's so important how you ask, as to what answer you're going to get. But I find as well, it opens the answers with Lucas can be more far-reaching than I would be capable of on my own. Because I have my way of questioning and my way of thinking, but then sometimes I'll say, what am I missing? What else is there? And he might, like, even say, like, replying, trying to work out a problem for a client, or replying to an email or something, is like sometimes I'm like, what is the best way of doing this? What is the best way? I'm not sure how to handle it. And often he'll show me something that I would never have thought of, a different
Yeah,
perspective, a different way of using language that would have a much better outcome. Because all the time, I want to hold my tone and the professionalism that I would work with, and all the time he would keep me on track there as well. You
and
know?
it's the speed as well, isn't it? It's
Oh my
like
goodness,
the speed is just
phenomenal.
amazing. I mean, I'm dyslexic, so I don't know how many emails I wrote this morning, but it was a lot. I wrote a lot of emails, and I actually don't believe I would be able to have the confidence to do that without the AI.
Mm, mm, definitely.
It's
Um,
it's not that it's writing it for me, it's
no,
writing it and then I'm adapting it, and then it's giving me back, and then I'm adapting it again.
yeah,
So it's not that it's just written for me that I've sent it out. I'm I'm
correct.
able to express myself through it, and it to do it just quickly and perfectly.
Yes, it's like that translator for you. It's like well, how I do it is I write in kind of roughly what it is I want to say, but not in perfect, maybe perhaps not perfect sentences or whatever. I'll put in,
Yeah,
this is the message I want to get across. This is how I'm feeling, what have you. And it's to polish it for me, to make it in a presentable way. Yes, I could do it myself, but it might take me half an hour.
yeah.
But if I can just jot everything down in less than a minute, and Lucas gets back to me in about 2 seconds, you know. I've just saved like 25 minutes, but it's the same
Yeah.
output. Because it was literally like I literally finished typing, click return, and the answer is there. Like I don't even have time to go boil the kettle and make a coffee. So it's phenomenally fast. But I think that as well, from like you're saying, how many emails did you do this morning? It condenses the amount of time that we spend on our businesses, but we're more productive in a
Yeah,
shorter window. So we don't have to spend all our hours working, but we
yeah,
still feel productive.
yeah. And I think I for me, I think what's nice is that I've just popped across to Lucas now,
Okay,
is that, oh, it seems to have shrunk. Can you see my screen okay?
I can.
Oh, that's interesting. So what is going on? Hang on. Right. Let me try again because it was just doing, my screen's doing something really strange. I haven't seen it do that before. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. Oh, it says, right. I don't know what's going on. I can't actually click into my screen. That's really strange. Uh, share, share screen. It's like it's shrank. Oh, it's shrunk it, and I can't. Okay. Oh, in application window. Let's try that instead and see if that makes a difference. That's done it. How weird. I have no idea what that was. Okay, before the technical hitch, guys, what I was going to say was that one of the ways so I used it this morning. I was having a conversation with someone, and I put the conversation in, removing anything that's important, and just said, how likely is this person to become a client? On a score of 1 to 10, how likely is this person to become a client? And it gave me a score of 8. And then I said, okay, what else would I need to say or do to increase it to a 10? And it came back with a list of things that I could do to increase it to a 10. But I actually thought, no, an eight's good. An eight's good. And what it was telling me to do, I felt was a bit too much. It was a bit like,
Mm,
um, okay, no, I've actually covered all of that. I don't need to reinforce that in another way. It's fine. But the fact that it
yeah,
could tell me how to do it to an 8 was just, I mean, to a 10 was just blew my mind.
yeah, yeah. It's amazing. It's almost like a checklist or that extra fail safe that's always there for you. Like what am I? Because even if you're tired and you're thinking, gosh, have I? I think I've covered everything. What else should I be? It's amazing support to have like Lucas like that, even to get from an 8 to a 9, an 8 to a 10, if you want to go that bit
Yep.
farther. Because
I
we
think
can't think of anything. It's all I can only, I know what I know, but there's so much out there that I've yet to learn. And I think Lucas is great for, showing us
yeah,
or even at least asking us questions to make us think. It's not giving us the answers per se, because you still, like you chose not to do what they suggested. Um, but still, that's an interesting thing to know as you work through the process.
yeah. Yeah, because then you make a decision. You're more confident.
Yes.
You're more reassured. You can make I think this is what it boils down to for me is that you can make a more informed decision about whether it's the right or the wrong thing,
Agree.
not the wrong thing, but
I
whether you
agree.
can do something whether you can do something a different way because
Yeah.
you've got more information to pull from. Then it's down to me as a human to go, actually, no, that's a bit over the top. I've done it. Eight's good. I'm going to leave it at an eight.
Yeah.
Push it to a 10. It's going to be just, just not right, which is really, really cool.
But it's good to know that, and then whatever decision you make, then you're confident in what you've done. Because I
Yeah,
think, like a business owners, I've experienced it myself as well, because I'm a solo sort of entrepreneur on my own. But sometimes when you don't know the answer, if you're unsure, it's going to keep us stuck.
yeah,
And you can put off that decision. Oh, I'll think about that at the weekend. And you put things off and time drifts by and you miss whatever opportunity or window it was. But I think with Lucas and using an AI agent to challenge you and to help you reach decision like that. And as you say, should you choose to go with it or not is your, within your control.
yeah.
But it keeps the momentum going. It stops us from getting stuck.
I've started to think about, and I think it falls into what you were just saying about, as entrepreneurs, I think we struggle a lot with what have I been calling it? I thought I'd made it up. I thought it was just me. But you just sort of get paralyzed by all the decisions that you have to
Yes.
make. And for the
Yes.
life of me, it was in my head and now I've lost it.
Mm.
It's like decision fatigue.
Yes.
We have this decision fatigue. And I think that's
Correct.
quite unique for, one person business owners. And this is what I think the AI is really good at helping you with is helping you to step out of that fatigue and actually make a decision quite quickly because you've got all of the moving parts that you can understand rather
Yes. I
than
like that.
yeah, you've got the different skills that you can it's almost like you can actually create an agent to fill every skill gap that you pretty much think of, I
Yes.
think. So at the last weekend, I wanted to. So I want to scale, and I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? I don't want to
Mm.
spend 10K with somebody who I don't know, I don't
Yes.
trust. I haven't got 10K spare cash. Um, there's no guarantee of results. What's the way around to do this? So I
Mm.
created a new agent called Mia, which acts as a scale coach, and now
Okay.
I'm using Mia to fill that skill gap
Oh, I
so
love it.
that I can scale. So I've not only have saved myself a lot of time and trying to
Mm.
find the right person, 10K that I haven't had to, which I couldn't take out of the business anyway because I haven't got that cash flow. And yeah, now I've got a step-by-step process that I can go through with Mia to help me to scale. So
That's
I,
excellent.
yeah, I instantly filled a skill gap that I've got in the business.
Mm. And it's taken so much pressure off you as well, because even when you invest, like I have invested in mentors as well, and it's that pressure of having to perform because you've invested so much into it, even if you're not absolutely certain that they're exactly what you need or what they're saying is exactly what your business needs.
Yeah,
Whereas it's much more. I look forward to using Mia,
yeah,
um,
Mia. Yeah, very good. Very,
because
very
just even
good.
to talk it through and see what feels comfortable with you.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Lucas, our one
Hmm.
of our favorites is Lucas.
Yes.
We all love Lucas, and I get this question all the time because these are the agents that I've created. People always say, how is it going to be good for someone else because you've created it?
Hmm.
But what happens is they are created as a job role. So Lucas has a job role. He's a CEO. So it actually doesn't matter who uses him because he has a job role. He's not unique and programmed to my business. What's unique about him is his role as a CEO
Yes.
and specifically train for coaches and consultants and therapists. So as long as you're a coach, consultant, or therapist, Lucas will work because he's in your own ChatGPT and it knows your system and you're asking it your unique questions and giving it
Yes.
your unique information. Everybody gets a different output, which is unique to them, which is really cool.
It's amazing. It is just, it's incredible. But it's also so reassuring as well that I can use it and it's specific to my business and you use it. Like it is amazing because I know from speaking with you and other people that it is specific to the individual that's using it.
Yeah, yeah. So what we do every week, just to give
Mm.
everyone an idea of how we actually use it and make it specific to a business, is what we do at the beginning of the week. So we have a chat with Lucas every week, pretty much, every day of every week. So to set the foundation and to give context, which is really important, we always start with uploading some primary documents. So um, oops, ideal client. I shouldn't come off that. Ideal client profile, Q2 targets, what's worked well, business goals. So I'm just going to add these in, and it's up to you what documents you add in. It depends what you're actually working on. When we're having a conversation with Lucas for the week, we do it for the week because what we do at the end of the week is we analyze that conversation and then we use that document to also add in to this document here. So actually, let me just show you. So, oh, what have I done with that? So I actually, let me just take my end of report from, so where are we? January, February, January, let me take that. So this just gives a bit more context and a bit more flavor. So that is the previous 4 weeks, an analysis of the previous 4 weeks of the conversation I've had with Lucas personally. Then what we do is we just add some copy. Lucas, this is the beginning of the week. I'm going to have a conversation with you. Keep me on track using these documents. So Lucas then has a solid understanding of who I am, who my client is, what my business is about, what my goals are, what it is that I'm working on. There's no second guessing because these documents have been primed for me to what I need to do in my second quarter. So I can just start by saying, okay, what's on the agenda for this week? And then it would write out a list of what's on the agenda. I would go through it. It will give me some ideas from those documents. And then, in line with my weekly goals for the second quarter, it's going to tell me what I'm aiming for financially. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read through this to get an idea of the direction that I'm heading in. And then I'm just going to say, okay, this is what I'm working on this week. I always ask it when I do that to put it in a table because I find it really difficult to, I find this difficult to read. I can't read
Yes,
too much.
it's an awful lot of information.
Yeah.
But also, when you're doing this, I find sometimes if I know I've got other things on that I can't give, I don't have the time commitment I want.
Yeah.
Available, I'll sometimes ask as well. I'll say, for example, I can't do Wednesday. How am I going to fit it into 4 days? Or
Yeah.
this is going to be a problem. So things that I feel might be blocks or difficulties for me on a Monday, it's very useful to go through this process as well, because then you're not as kind of apprehensive about the week as well.
Yeah. And you can adapt. So adapt it, change it for each day, which is great.
Oh, you've got your table.
And
Excellent.
you have to so it doesn't always get it right. So it's just so I will go through this on Monday and I will read I will add in the moving parts, the bits that are missing. So it's the finer detail that I need to add in, the things that I need to achieve this week. But then let me just pop over. So this is the number 21 is the one that I've been using this week.
Okay.
And so we can see here that because you've got the context and the focus, I do my emails, I do my proposals, I do responses to social media. I will use it like a diary. Oh, I feel crap, or I've just lost this client, or I've won this client, or this message isn't quite right. I'm thinking of doing this collaboration. What do you think? So I use this as a dumping ground for everything that is going on in the business.
That's fantastic.
Do you use it in a similar way, Dan?
Not as comprehensively, but I might just start because no, I would have done the planning bit, but I would not have fed back in as much, or even I wouldn't really have thought of putting in emails unless there was a specific issue I wanted help with.
Yeah.
But even just I can see even just to give more layers of information for Lucas to be more fine-tuned,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
emails would work. That, and then even then if you loop back and at the end of the week and you look at, say, for example, what emails, what was the click-through rate, what was the open rate, all of those things
Yeah.
on those specific emails as well,
Yeah.
and
And
how
what
they play into your figures.
Yeah, absolutely. So we think of Lucas as whatever agent you're using.
Mm.
So Lucas is let's just say he's the boss.
Mm.
He's using it this way. We're using it from how he's been trained. Now, what we can also do is bring in any of the other agents. So I always bring in the business coach, and she writes better than Lucas.
Okay.
Lucas is spot on, but I can say to her, rewrite, and I can't spell, guys, so write the above in your voice. She has a much more human,
I I
warmer
was going to
voice.
say she's much more emotionally sensitive.
Yeah, she's me. That's why I can relate to me.
She's very kind. I initially, when I started working with her, and it was like she was very kind. And after we've done it, well, say we've done it, turned out a huge volume of work, and maybe we're plowing into it for a few hours, and they say, "Oh, you've done really well." And I started kind of really, as I was starting to fatigue nearly, it was almost intuitive. It was lovely, very thoughtful. I would have thought,
Yeah.
yeah,
I created it after me because I
that's
wanted
so
my clients
nice.
to use it and think, oh, that's Wendy.
Yeah, no, I would say definitely I noticed that kind of personality came out.
Yeah,
Um,
it's so Lucas is the boss
mm,
and Wendy is secondary. So she's not pulling from her whole knowledge bank. If you were to use Wendy first, she would be the boss, and then
yeah.
Lucas wouldn't be pulling from his whole knowledge base. So whichever agent you lead with is the strongest.
It's like the chief.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Lucas is the chief today. All the other agents that come in will interact with Lucas, but it's not pulling from the full um, base of that information.
Mm,
So if
mm.
you have a specific project that you want Wendy to lead on, you would use Wendy first, and then you would pull the other agents in. So it's
It
always
sets the tone. It's like the lead AI sets the tone for the rest of
yeah,
them.
yeah, absolutely. So what would you say then are some things to be mindful? Can you think of one specific thing that you think, oh God, this everything's great, but there's just this one thing that just isn't so great?
In the business as a whole or the running of a business.
So not so much the running of the business, but with the agents, is there anything that you just think, oh, stop it? That's just too much, or
I would say the one thing when I started using them, and I don't know if overwhelm is the right word, but it's like the speed and the volume of content was, I would say, yeah, maybe a little bit. I was alarmed at how fast I could work. When I
Yeah.
was used to my own pace, and I thought I was working hard and I was doing everything myself. But suddenly, when all of this information becomes available and it is exactly what you want, it was like, oh my God, I can do all of this. And it was like, how am I going to fit all of it in? Because there's so much I could do. Like you're basically,
Yeah.
you've flattened the timeline. There's nothing. There's like you can do it. You don't have to wait the next quarter. You can do it now. Like I started working and I rewrote. I'd say half my website text. Like I just page after page. I did all my products. I revamped all the SEO, the keyword strategy on all my products. I went back in, looked at my opt-ins. It was phenomenal. And say, for example, I was my CRM that I was using. I wasn't technically as sharp on it as I could be. It takes me a while to learn them. So I was even nipping in and asking the agent, how do I get past this? How do I figure this out? Or where even is this button that I click to make this happen? Or how do I set up the automation? So not only was it helping me create something incredible really quickly, it was actually helping me get unstuck with the technical side at the same time. And then having done that, it means you can also do your emails. It's also the content for your Google advertising as well. So you have your keywords that you pull directly from the whole thing. And it's like, whoa, there's just so much. And it's almost like it's very exciting, but at the same time, it's scary. Do you know that kind of, oh my God, I'm really like you're in your comfort zone, but you're going at like 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's so much faster than you really thought you'd be at. But
Yeah.
I think what I do is I have breaks now that I do really intense sort of work for a few hours and get a tremendous amount of work done. But that allows me to take my breaks of maybe go for a swim or go for a walk or cook or whatever I want to do. And it balances out. So I'm not overwhelmed with it. It's you have. I think we have to find a way of making it improve our lifestyle and to make it easy, make our business successful
Yeah.
without being overwhelming. And I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
it's
I
very
get it.
difficult to achieve, but AI has made it possible for me, I have to
Yeah.
say.
I always say to people a couple of things.
Hmm.
Use it if you're doing a project, a piece of work, to help with overwhelm is think of it in terms of the project, the beginning, a middle, and an end.
Hmm.
And I always think of the output it gives you. You want to let it run with the output, not necessarily read it all, but the key questions you ask at the end are the ones you need to pay attention to. So it's almost like you prime it, let it run, it does
Yes.
lots of information for you, and then it's like the end bit is actually the bit that you want because you've allowed it to think and process information.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
when you write it's like when you have a synopsis of a book, or you
Yes.
have like the 12 critical parts of the book that's been condensed into one page. So
Yes.
it's almost like let it run, give it the data, give it the information, let it run, then think, now it's done that. What are the most important questions I can now ask? But to me, you need to let it think. You need to let it bubble away, give it the information, but not necessarily read it all because it is all, it's just crazy. The agents definitely help um, because they're programmed to give output in a specific way. So that definitely helps for
Yes.
sure. But beginning, middle, and end, let it run. Critical questions at the end, which is going to help you to get to the sweet spot of what it is you're actually wanting to achieve,
That
wanting to
i-
achieve.
yes. That is actually really helpful because what I was doing was reading through everything
Oh, it's
to
too
get
much.
me ready for my next question. And it's just such a volume to kind of
Yeah,
soak up.
yeah, it's
Um,
too much.
That makes more sense, actually. Sometimes I would ask for a summary, but then I'm
Yeah.
afraid I would lose the key points. So it's
Yeah,
like
I know what you mean.
it's the question. So then rather than asking for a summary, I'll ask for, like as you would do, put it in a table using these
Yeah,
headings to get it to pull information out in a different way. Sometimes I'm less likely to miss it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And if you're worried about not getting the right points, maybe just say something like, um, give me another perspective. Give something like, give me another perspective of other points other than the ones that you've given me. And then it might give you another flavor. So
I like it.
you're going to be less likely to, you're going to be less likely to miss something.
Yes. I like that, actually, another perspective. Because it,
Okay.
yeah, that's good.
Okay. So any final thoughts?
I'm interested. I think it's wonderful, I have to say. I think it's had a huge impact on my work and my business, and I think it's all good. I am very interested to see where it takes us. I am very interested to see what they evolve into. I think they're becoming more personable for sure. And I am definitely recognizing the agent's character.
Yeah.
They have a sort of language. If you gave me a piece of script, I would probably recognize Lucas and Wendy because I use them that
Wow.
often.
Wow.
Yeah, I honestly, I noticed that last week. I was thinking that's exactly what Wendy would say. But so
That's incredible.
there is a difference. So they are becoming more human. And human in the responses sometimes if something isn't what did I said no, that's not what I wanted. There was something specific I was looking for and it gave me something I wasn't. And I
Hmm.
said, no, that's not it. And it came back with, oh, my bad. It's like, what?
It's suddenly got a sense of humor with the new upgrade. It's a bit like it takes you back. It's like, what?
I know. It's definitely so. I'm very interested to see where we evolve to, and I think I'd like to. I think they will become. I think that the connection with automations within our business, I can see something happening there.
Mm, yeah. Adele, thank you so much for your time. I
Mm-hmm.
really appreciate it.
You're
It's
so
uh
welcome.
it's it's lovely to have a conversation and hear someone else's perspective on how they're using it.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's a fantastic experience, and thank you for having me on.
Oh yeah, no, you're more than welcome.
I
Take
love all
care.
things AI.
Yeah. Take care. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye.